This session is going to go into how you set up coursework. In our last session, we talked about how to set up our units and types. We went into units and types. We created the particular units we were going to use for that class. And so in this case, I have 2 face-to-face meetings with 2 weeks in between. A unit can be anything that you want it to be. So these could be by chapter if you wanted to make it that way. If you're having a class that's a seminar class, this might be a whole month if you're meeting once a month for the semester. Types are the things we said in our syllabus we were going to grade by. So once I go back to the main screen, I see that I have what looks like part 1 of my, or part 2 of my syllabus. In part 2 of the syllabus, we have the activities that are going to be done, the readings, and the things that we're graded on. In this particular video, I'm going to go into how we actually set up the different kinds of assignments. When I click add an assignment up here, I'm offered the opportunity to do an online assignment, which is in the format of a test using something called Test Builder. It basically comes in, we'll do multiple choice, true, false type, matching short answer, short essay. If it's something that the computer can grade, it can actually give you grade and feedback to the student directly. It's a great assessment tool to give them a pre-quiz and a post-quiz, because it keeps it recorded within the course, so you can see how the students have progressed. The file upload is much like doing a email, except for it gives you a digital inbox where it date, time, stamps, and registers the submission by the student. So if a student says they sent their homework in, you'll know for certain when it came in and whether it actually was delivered or not. This basically gives you the digital inbox capability that many of us look for, so that we don't have our email completely filled up with emails from the students. The basic format is for things like doing presentations or discussion forum or participation grades, or any kind of a grade where I don't have anything physically submitted, but I make an assessment and provide the student a grade. The basic is the most simple kind. So when I go and I click on, let's make a basic assignment, I see that later on they're going to give me a chance to change the format if I don't like it. But in doing my assignment, this is going to be A1, my first assignment. And my first assignment will be presentation on topic for class. So this is the kind of thing where I'm giving a presentation grade. It's going to happen during the face-to-face session. The grade itself can be one that's either extra credit or optional, but in this case I make it required. The default's required. This is a participation grade that I'm going to give, and I pick the date that it's going to be due. So this is going to happen on the 14th. I want to show the student the work right now. Now you have the option of displaying it later, and so if you say later, then you can pick the date you want it to be later, or you can actually display it later by making it visible to the student just by clicking now. My personal opinion is that students should see the grades up front, or see what they're being graded on. If you're doing an exam or a quiz, you may want to choose the option of showing them the actual test later on, but to show them the assignment right now. Grading. Grading can be done on the basis of credit, no credit. If you do it on the basis of anything other than credit, no credit, it's going to ask you for a number of points to be assigned. These points don't have to be additive, so you can grade every assignment independent of every other assignment if you would like to. so you don't have to say 10 points here plus 10 points there to come up to 100 points for the course. You can just pick the number of points you want to grade it on. If I want to grade this on 100 points, I can make it exactly equal to another assignment that I grade on the basis of 10 points. But you decide how you want to grade it. I typically will use 20 points as my grading scale. And then this next one is, when do you want to show the grade? It defaults to as soon as available, but if you have a grade that you don't want to show the students until later, you can change that default to after the due date is passed. So once graded, I let them see it right away. The second one here is some options which I seldom use. This is if you had a particular bookstore or URL or something you wanted them to do. They'll see it when they see their assignment. I'll show you an assignment in just a second from a student point of view. You could add readings here. You could use the second step, particularly if you're doing a lot of readings with the students. Under the instructions down here, this is the important one. This tells them what you want to do. So choose a topic from Forbes and prepare a 10-slide PowerPoint and this will be so that's the specific description of what's being done. The instructions might be use Microsoft PowerPoint 2007 or later. Presentation will be in class. So you give the instructions the way you'd like to see them, and we save your assignment. Now, if later on, if you get this in the wrong block, I can go back and click the pencil over to the right, and I have the opportunity to edit that any way I want to. So there's nothing that's locked into concrete. So if you need to fix something, it's fairly easy to click the pencil and make the change. Now, if you decided you wanted to have them submit this online, so they have an individual presentation, you could actually go in here and change that format. And I could change it from the basic format to, for example, a file upload format. Now that means there's some adjustments to the template, so I need to go view this again. I see my title stayed the same. It's face-to-face. I have a due date. Now this says I accept late submissions. What would happen is if they didn't turn it in by the 14th, they would automatically be marked late. So if I say I'm not going to accept late submissions, that means I'm going to give them a 0 if they're late, which isn't normally the case for our adult students. We don't normally do that. So I can say accept late submissions until, and then I can pick some latest date. If you don't have any by that date, you're going to get a 0. And then finally, I have the option of saying I'm going to give a penalty. If you turn something in late, I'm going to take away, say, 5%. Now, I wouldn't do it per day. I might do 5% total. Or if you wanted points, you could automatically subtract points. This 5%, the way that would work is if you give them a grade of 20, it would take 5% of 20, or 1 point, away from them. Of course, if they only earned 18, it would take 5% of the 18 away, but it removes 5% of their grade. And you don't have to worry about that. It takes the penalty automatically for you, based on the date, time stamp, and when they submitted it. And finally, you say when they can see it. They can start working immediately. If you want to have a later date that you show it to them, you can do that. The rest of the assignment we can leave as is, and I hit save. And now we see here that we have a participation assignment and a graded assignment that's called an upload participation. Now the question is it really participation? Well, maybe. If you didn't like that and said, if you decided that was going to be a written assignment, you would call it a written assignment. Save it. And now it says right in here you have upload a written assignment. Now, one of the questions people ask me is, what does this look like if you were a student? Well, at the top of your screen you'll say current view, and it says faculty here. If you click on student, you can actually change that view and see it as they would see it. So all the editing marks have been removed, and now based on the dates, these folders may actually close up like that if the date is passed. But when I click, I can reopen a folder. But I see here that I had a participation grade due here, and I had an assignment that was due on the 14th. Of course, it says late because the 14th is passed at this point in time. But it gives me the instructions. Choose a topic from Forbes magazine, prepare a 10-slide presentation. If I click on the actual assignment, which had an underline, I get all kinds of information. This is a written assignment required graded on the basis of 20 points. I get all the instructions again, but I also get the MS PowerPoint 2007 and later. You must upload at least one file. If I'm a student and have to upload a file, I'm going to simply click on upload a file, and then I'm going to browse for my file that I have to turn in, and so I find my presentation. I'm assuming that's my presentation. A1 homework. Now what I recommend doing is if you're going to have them submit something like this, at least put their name in it. So in fact, if I were doing it, I'd probably do MMG 725 A1 McMicken. So I add the file like that, and it comes up and tells me here's my file. So the student can click on the file, verify that in fact that's the one they intended to submit. So there's the file that was submitted. And then once they've uploaded it, they've got the date, time, group, and everything of the submission. They click this check mark here in the blue box, and that submits it. Okay, so now we have the file that's been submitted. The full history says the file was uploaded at 12:53 p.m. and it was turned in 3 days late. So you can see the 1 minute delay in between the two. And again, that comes from this thing. For more details, click full history. So as a faculty member, when you decide you want to grade this kind of assignment, you're going to click on the name, open the file. You can grade the assignment. You have to, if you want to make changes to it, you'd save that to your desktop and you would submit them back a graded copy. So if I flip back over here, and now I'm in this faculty, I can come in and see my class. I only have one student submitting. And you can take this yourself if you want to. When you go to grade, you'll notice that you get a check mark. That's full credit, and this is partial credit. And that basically means no credit. I can download the file, or I can just click on his name, in this case my name, and I can go ahead and assign a grade to this particular one. So I'm going to assign a grade of 22 points. That's more than full, so I want to change that grade. It's probably going to be 18 points. I can give them feedback. Let's see here. Something like that. I can give them feedback. And then I have the ability to go directly to the next student. That's what other students would be if they had other students in the class. I can just go next, 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 and grade all the assignments just like that. And that concludes this session. Thank you.